for taking the time to come to Manchester. How has Comic-Con been treating you so far? We'll start with you, Jeanette.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it's great. It's incredibly busy.
Yes.
And hot.
It has been hard, yes.
It is hot.
Yes.
It's hot.
Lovely.
Yeah, very lovely, very busy, like she was saying, yeah.
Yes. Well, we have so many great fans here. Everyone's had such a great time. Ooh, everyone, put your hands up for this photo or video that we're getting here with Jeanette. Making everybody famous. We love that. Have you had any chance to actually explore the city of Manchester on this trip or see any part of the city or the culture here in Manchester?
Yesterday, after the evening, we went down to the city center and we saw, let's see,
Drug takedown.
a police takedown.
A bunch of people were coming after the drug dealer, and the cop was telling them, back off, and we'll look you up. And then the guy starts throwing his drugs out, and the cop immediately does a judo move and flips him over on his back.
It was very exciting. It was very exciting. And then we walked around and we got a drink at the oldest pub.
The old Wellington. Yeah, it was amazing. 1554. Cool.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then we went to an Indian restaurant, and it was very quiet and sedate, very whispery, and then all of a sudden there was a birthday party where they blasted disco like so loud.
Those
torches,
Punjabi folks are wild.
And then it would get quiet again, and then somebody else would have a birthday.
Well, Manchester sure knows how to show you a good time. Love that you get to see a bit of the city. Well, I'm going to ask a question to you, Ever, but please, all of you chime in. Were you aware of, or were you kind of privy to the fact that Terminator was going to be such a huge franchise in the first film? Did you have any inkling that it was going to turn into the phenomenon that it is now, bringing you all the way to Manchester?
Yes and no, like, I mean, I knew it was going to be big, because, you know, Jim had already done, like, I think it could be Abyss, Aliens, you know, all that. And also a giant production and everything, but if you told me that I'd be 46 years old and I'd still be doing this for that movie, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah, it's crazy how long it's lasted, you know.
Your thoughts on the first film? I'll go to Jeanette.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely adored the first film. I went to see it. I was living in Hackney, and I went to see it at a movie theater. I think it was called the Ritz, and I just loved it. And it was so much I went back and told my husband, I said, "You got to see this film. I'll go back and see it again." And when I went to the audition, my first meeting with Gail Ann Hurd for Aliens, in this little office, she had the poster of Terminator on the wall, and I was like, "Oh my God, I love that movie." I just saw it. She goes, "Yes, that's ours." And I was like, "Ours?" I was so confused. I didn't exactly know who she was. And this young woman, and this film I saw was hers. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. What you, Sandra?
I went on an opening night with Robert Patrick because our girlfriends were really, really close friends, so we'd known each other before. And it was really fun. We snuck in the back of the Hollywood Cinerama Dome for an opening night. In fact, they saved 4 seats for us in the back. And we just watched and got to see the movie and see an audience's first reaction to it. And it was so incredible, I'll never forget it ever. It was like, that's an exciting movie. And we were a part of it, and then we cut out the back and it was like, that's gonna be around for a while.
It's not going anywhere, clearly not. Well, what do you think it is about, and anyone can chime in and answer, what do you think it is about Terminator and the franchise that's lasted, and spanned so many generations?
I think it's Jim Cameron, personally. I mean, I think it's just, he's so talented and knows what he's doing, and it kind of seems like whenever he does a movie, that is what happens, you know? Yeah, man, I just feel like they make them like they used to, you know? Like, I feel like, all the practical stuff and everything, I think it just has like a lasting power that like a lot of stuff today doesn't have, you know? I don't know.
Let me see. I'm not really sure. Well, actually, it's the first film you had did they call it CGI? I don't think so, but computer generated, you know, melting going through the bars. I'd never seen it. I mean, I saw what I was looking at with all of you for the first time. I didn't know what I was looking at.
I'm still amazed how many people don't realize how much of what we did, like specifically in the scene where my wife impaled me.
Well, don't drink out of the milk
It's
carton.
not all
I mean, come on.
computer generated. We had, they made this incredible replica of Jeanette's arm that turns into a blade. Two posts on it that the puppeteers could hold just under frame, going through her shirt sleeve, down through the carton, down my throat. And they gave me a sword to actually practice sword swallowing with for 2 weeks. True fact. Which I gag on a toothbrush, so that was a lot of work for me. And then they had a retractable blade that came out of the back of my head that was on a pulley system, again, under frame, puppeteers pulling it to go boom. At the same time, one of the puppeteers was holding the corner of the milk carton so it would drop independent of the blade coming out. And so there were all these guys right under the frame doing all the stuff, and they had the dot to dots essentially. Through the head, then you're like this, and then you're like this, and then there's the guy that wore the silver suit that comes in, and then Robert Patrick in the police uniform walking out of frame. But throughout all of that, I wasn't allowed to move. Jim said, you know, this is after I've done a back bend for about 4 hours while they matched the glint and the blade.
Leaning against the counter.
They didn't take into account that there's going to be a kitchen counter that I had to bend back over. And when Jim first saw it, he looked at Stan Winston and he didn't take the counter into account. Thanks a lot, Stan. There goes $250,000. and I felt so bad for Stan. I was like, no, I'll try the back bend. I'll do the back bend. And I did the back bend for about 3 or 4 hours as they matched the glint. And originally, I don't know if you remember, they had a tube of milk and a tube of blood that went down the back of the blade. Like, it's not gross enough to begin with. And then they separated them at the very back so that the blood would come out one side and the milk would come out the other. And so it wouldn't just come out like that with Dismal pink. And it was so gross that everybody, they did it one time and everybody almost got sick, just as I did, from tubes in the back of my throat. But so then they took those off, but they still had to. They did this weird thing where they had to photograph the entire room, move the camera out of place so that they wouldn't get the camera in the reflection on the blade that they're going to later put back in. And so they did all these little sort of moments of perfection that they then could seamlessly tie together in computer-generated imagery, blending between the different points.
Yeah, it was really strange. I mean, people always ask me, you know, oh, it must have been so difficult, and I was like, no, it was Xander who underwent a lot of difficulty.
And my favorite part was because it was late at night. It was an actual practical house in the valley, and it gets cold in LA when we're at night. And the sliding glass doors had to be open wide enough to have the major cables for the camera and the sound department. And I'm slumped down like this, and this is where Jim said, after I get the drop, that if I move this much, I'll fuck up the whole thing. So literally another 3 or 4 hours, I'm on the ground like this, not moving. As Jim, in between each shot, comes and swirls, he pours the milk and the blood on the floor and swirls it because my jeans kept sucking it up and just absorbing into my jeans.
That's
all night, and it was so cold.
Yeah, no, I just had to put my arm like this kind of, and then I remember, you know, move your eyes here, move your eyes there, move your head there, and then I had to do it with my arm behind my back, imagining that my arm, someone that their finger would like draw their finger up, and I had to like do that and do that, and then put your hand out. I mean, so it didn't come together. I remember Jim getting really angry that the little knife that would spring wouldn't work. And he was like, God damn it, guys, get that damn thing to work. And Xander's just like, has anybody seen the YouTube of Xander when they're setting it up and your eyes sort of kind of go?
Yeah, but you sure did nail that look.
Yeah, so.
We love to hear the attention to detail of what goes into making that movie magic. And that sounds like a rough day at work for you, Xander. But do you think that Hollywood is perhaps relying too much on CGI these days in that sort of cinematic universe? Are they relying too much on CGI, do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's more cost effective, right, to do that. I will say, like, yeah, being on the set and seeing all the kind of the detail that went into the special effects and everything, it's like, I didn't really understand. I mean, the kind of effects that were done back then, it was like when you're reading the script and there's like a liquid metal guy and it's like morphing everywhere, and Jim, yeah, he's gonna morph through. It's like, it was hard to even understand what that meant, you know, because nothing had been done like that. And I remember seeing the film and just being blown away by the CGI in it. And I think like, and then that kind of went into like, you know, Jurassic Park and they're doing all these like, you know, things with the dinosaurs. So I don't know, I think that there's like a place where you can use CGI to enhance it. And I think that's what it did with Terminator, kind of.
Yeah, it was a combination, I think, just worked really well. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I knew better, I'd be making movies, not acting.
I think you're right. You've struck a really cool balance. Well, obviously, your adoring fans here in Manchester have lots of questions for you. Hi there. Feel free to introduce yourself. We are going to limit it to one question each, though, guys, just so everyone has a turn. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenna. My question is, what was it like working with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
You know what? Like when I met Arnold, I was completely starstruck. I mean, he was like you know, like he was bigger than life. You know, like I mean, he was the biggest star back then, and after like 9 months, you get used to it. You know, kind of wears off, but he's a very funny, very intelligent. I had a wonderful experience working with Arnold. You know, when the movie ended, I was sad to see everybody go. Like I felt like you know, I made like a family. You know, it was my first time doing a movie, so it's like, you know, I never thought about, oh shit, this is gonna end. You know? But yeah, I love Arnold. I love Arnold.
Thank you.
Mr. Belmont, Terminator was in the Universal Studios ride. So I was wondering, how did it feel coming back to film that ride movie? And how did it feel different compared to the film itself?
Actually, it was weird. It didn't feel different at all. It felt like we were just I don't know how many years after that was. I think it was like 2 years. And it was nice. It was just nice. It felt like just sort of a continuation, and it was nice to have us all there. And yeah, it was just kind of I was excited. You know, Jim was helming it, and you know, Arnold, Robert, Linda. It was just great to see everybody again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, I do have a question. However, my friend is the biggest Terminator 2 fan. She watches it probably every night to go to bed, so it's weird. She loves it. So I just wondered if you could just do a quick shout out for my friend, because she can't make it today and she would love that. Her name is Joanne.
What is it?
Joanne.
Joanne.
Okay.
You say just do one.
If you could just say hello to
My brain is melting.
They do it with a Manchester accent. Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hello, Joanne.
Thank you so much. That will make things more life, I think. Thank you so much.
Round of applause for Joanne. I'm sure she's watching on YouTube.
Hey guys, it's Dave. Met you all earlier. It's such a treat having you guys in. I'm a huge Aliens and Terminator fan. The question though is aimed at Jeanette. I've always wondered if you didn't get on too well with directors, because in most of your films you're killed off. So, two Aliens, Lethal Weapon 2, Leonard, Titanic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aidan. I want to know one of you, what is the best Terminator and Terminator Skynet movies?
Terminator 2.
Best Terminator?
The best Terminator, right?
Best Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator 2, man. I'm in it.
Crazy, crazy.
Contest, really.
Thank you.
Hello. This question's for Edward. I was just wondering if you could try and break it down how it must feel, what it does to your brain to go from someone who's not an actor to then be the focal point of like the biggest film of the year, and how it must feel to go from being like, I'm a normal person, and being like, I'm the most famous person in the world. Because it must be crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it really was big. I don't think, it's weird when it's kind of happening to you. I didn't really have an idea of how big it really was, you know, because I was just kind of like, yeah, it was life-changing. It was life-changing, and I wouldn't change a thing. I feel blessed. It got me all sorts of opportunities I don't think I would have gotten. But it's weird, you know, when it's happening to you, it's a totally different experience, you know? It's almost like you're not as aware of it from the outside, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
So like no negative, no negative trickle back through. You're like, oh God, why did I do it?
Oh, no, I never do that. I never am like, oh man, why did I? Trust me, I'm very happy I did. There's negatives to everything in life. You know, there's always negatives. But for me, in my life, I think the positives have outweighed the negatives. You know? Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Abby from Manchester. Today, we are off for I've guys up before, so like always.
I know.
What's your favourite death that you've been?
Oh my God, my favorite. I do explode a lot. I'm very explosive. I kill a lot of people also. I kill my husband in Terminator 2. I kill myself in Aliens, and I kill my children in Titanic.
The diving board and lethal weapon.
Oh yes, I forgot exploding on the diving board, and I think I die in a nuclear explosion. And I mean, we kind of, I don't know, we sort of are competitive in our deaths, right?
Do you have a death reel on YouTube?
I do not. He has the most amazing
Xander
death
Berkeley
reel.
death reel.
Xander, your saddest death for me is George in 24.
Oh, it's great. But see, I've
I
killed.
died a double death in that. I was going to go over radiation poisoning, and then I blew up with a bomb, a triple death, and fell on an airplane, which I've done 3 other times.
Didn't you?
Not leaving you out, Edward. The tears when Arnold was lowered down into the skin. Were they real?
Are they real?
Yeah.
No, they just kept punching me in the stomach.
You're still down for
No, they were, and then sometimes, you know, like, been doing it a long time, they had these, like, little menthol blowers, they blow in your eyes, you know, so that's kind of cheap, but it works, you know.
No, have you?
Great questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll love to know that I've mentioned 24 to Xander about 14 times today and yesterday, so yes, huge fan. I'm still not over it. Hi there.
Hi guys, it's actually a question about Terminator to Xander, as well as being a Terminator fan, I'm also like the world's biggest Harrison Ford fan, so I wanted to ask you, Xander, about working with Mr. Ford on Air Force One, if you've got any cool stories.
I'm having such a hard time hearing because I've been killed so many times I've been shot so many times, and they're squibs. You know what squibs are when you get shot? They're condoms filled with blood and gunpowder. And they go off right by your head, and they blow out your freaking hearing. And between that and all the times I've had to shoot major assault weapons, often in a tunnel, and they never give you proper ear protection, because the only proper ear protection is over ear, and it's always these little things when they paint makeup on them, and I blew my hearing out, so if you could translate.
Yes, he's been through a lot, for sure. He asked you about any fond memories of Air Force One, is that right? Yes.
About when Harrison Ford broke my nose? You want to hear about that?
For real?
I mean, he's a great guy, we love Harrison Ford. But he did break my nose, and as I was going down, I saw he was about a foot over the red tape. It was his mark. And it was like, crack. And I remember looking down and going, "You okay? Is this still double around?" He's such a pothead. You gotta love him.
Thank you so
Harrison,
much.
we love you.
Thank you. We sure do. If anyone is not going to be sure, we have time for maybe one or two more questions if you want to come on up. Oh, I knew it. Don't want to miss your chance. Come all the way to Manchester.
I just want to say thank you to making the best movie, and to Jeanette. Thank you for being a badass female character in the 80s.
Absolutely right. Yes. Well, coming off of the question that another gentleman asked earlier about when you got to, you rose to fame, what is that side of being an actor like when it does come to, adoring fans and having fame? How do you deal with that? What is it like to be in the public eye?
I'm not recognized that often because I look different in film to film. I'm maybe you.
Just to have, what's it like to have fans?
I have no idea. I've changed the way I look at everything I do, so
Yeah,
nobody knows who the hell I
but
am. So it's fine.
fans are just, they're really, really nice. And once they will come up and they'll just say, "I'm really sorry, I don't want to bother you at the post office," and they say, "Just want to say I really like your work." And I was like, "Thank you." And I have my little son with me all the time, with me, and he asked me one day, and he said, "Hey, Mom, did you ever think of being a movie star instead of someone they really like your work?" It's like,
It's one of those things that I always sort of designed my career in a weird kind of way to fly under the radar, because I was always obsessed with studying people rather than being studied. And I was friends with people who were very famous very early on who I worked with, and you'd be out with them, and invariably you must have had it all the time. They besiege your conversation, going, "Oh, really sorry to interrupt your conversation, but can I just get a picture, or can you sign this?" And you're sort of, become public domain. And the loss of the privacy and the loss of the ability to study people instead of having them study you was something that always scared the hell out of me, so I kept sort of dodging it myself. But I do love when people love my work. That's what doing things like this is really fun, to be able to see how you've connected with an audience.
no, it really is.
Yeah, it's weird. I would be afraid to have real fame. You know what I mean? I think that would be kind of scary. So just my little bit. Honestly, coming to these, I like it. It gets my ego rubbed. I like it. I like people telling me I'm awesome. So then way I don't go home and cry myself to sleep like I usually do.
Compliments are welcome. Well, Xander, meet Xander and Edward and Jeanette.
Hi, Xander. Hi, Edward and Jeanette. So my question is, Terminator 2, one of the things that people have studied about it is this idea of the father figure that the Terminator has for John. Growing up, sometimes you have dads that struggle to show affection, and because it might be the way they've been brought up, they don't want to show that vulnerability. What do you feel like to be in those scenes where people have had a genuine emotional connection to the final thumbs up between Terminator and John, and how that's like as good as I love you?
I'm trying to figure out how to answer this. Well, first of all, it's amazing to have been part of anything that has any sort of emotional reaction like that in general. Yeah, like I said, you know what, like, God, I don't know how to answer that question, but I guess, yeah, you know what, when I did it, I was basically living with my aunt and uncle and stuff, so I mean, I guess I could relate to that stuff, and certainly, God, certainly, yeah, I don't know, I guess it was pretty cool to be part of anything like that. I'm sorry if I'm not answering your question right, but, yeah.
You can speak the truth, and that's what I came with us, so thank you.
Thank you, man. Cheers.
We'll do a final question here with this lovely lady. Thank you, Xander.
Hi guys. So obviously all three of you have been in such incredible movies, and this one in particular I just find incredibly iconic for myself. But are the three of you actually able to appreciate the film for what it is and what it means to all of us? Or do you feel still very kind of distracted by your own performances and how things felt for you personally?
You know what? Actually, I hadn't seen the film in a long time, and I haven't. And I was with Robert Patrick, we were at one of these, and you know, I guess because, yeah, I've never been good at watching anything that I'm in or anything like that. It's kind of awkward. But we were watching it, and I think enough time had passed that it's like I was sort of separated from it. And we were watching the whole car chase down the river and shit, and I was like, God damn, we made a really fucking good movie, didn't we? Like, fuck. It's like, it's kind of cool to sort of see that whole chase scene after so many years. And yeah, just kind of trip out on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically a shy person, and I don't like seeing myself. I mean, this makes me so nervous. So when I watch it, I try not to go crazy, like, oh my God, my nostrils are uneven, or just like crazy crap like that. You know, you're just like, woo! Because it's not about me. It's not. It's about, you know, what I created within a story as a whole thing. And that's what's important, you know. So I am able, you know, first time I watch it with my eyes closed, you know, and then you just sit back and you just go, you know, either that worked, I worked there, or I didn't, you know, you hope you did work.
You know, Jeanette sent me a song that a guy had written about 6-7 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
And it was called, the name of his band is Wolfie's Just Fine, and the name of the song was